Yeah, so everybody knows what the USGBC is and what LEED is? Okay, cool. Well, if you don't worry. In about 15 or 20 minutes, you'll know all your answers, or all your questions will be answered. So the first question I ask is, why are we here today? You know, we're here to learn about LEED. This is a flyer. There's a lot of stuff on here. There's no way that I'm going to tell you guys all about all this stuff tonight. I'm just going to be upfront about that. But don't worry, in 2 weeks we've got another event. It's about an hour long. We're going to get a little bit more into all these subjects. It's a bunch of stuff. And then after that, I mean, this is probably like 10 hours worth of instruction right here. So we're going to do 15 or 20 minutes, kind of high level. And then in 2 weeks, at Third Workplace in Walnut Creek, we'll get a little bit more into it. We're going to have Ramon that's going to be there. And Ramon just took his Green Associate test about a month ago. And so he's going to tell you about the test, how he prepped, answer any questions about test preparation, about taking the test, that kind of stuff. And if you want to go to this event, you can go right to the USGBC NCC website, /calendar, register, it's totally free. There'll be appetizers and food and a bunch of professionals from around the area that you can meet, talk to about things like internships, how to get a job, stuff like that. So this is why we're here today, about the LEED rating system. I see it's on the board already. Leadership in Energy and Environmental Design. I used to see LEED everywhere before I knew anything. I was like, what is this LEED? What does LEED even mean? Oh, that's what it means. Leadership in Energy and Environmental Design. So the first question I asked, or another question I asked was, why the USGBC and LEED? You know, there's rating systems all over the world. What makes the USGBC and LEED? That's us right there. Energy Star, Green Globes, you may have heard of. Bream over in England. So what's different about LEED? Well, LEED is global. There are LEED projects all over the world. So I met people online through workshops that were in India, that were in South Korea. So there's projects everywhere. There's work everywhere. So it's kind of that benchmark language. It's they call it a lexicon. You know, so it's that common language that all people through all disciplines are able to communicate and talk about projects and know what each other are talking about. Across the United States, there's chapters in every state. So if you decide to transfer to the East Coast or to Florida, you'll be able to find chapters, hit up a chapter event, and meet people in the area that are doing the same kind of things that you're into. In Northern California, we've got 8 chapters, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We're in Northern California, and we're broken up into 5 branches. That's us right here, Diablo East Bay. I'm the Diablo East Bay branch Emerging Professionals Chair. So what that means is I come talk to students and people that are in transition and career transition that want to get into sustainability and green building, and I give them this little spiel. I'm like, hey, this is what you have to do. This is how you learn all about it. And the cool thing is the USGBC was founded right here in our own backyard by this guy right here in San Francisco, David Godfrey, and you'll actually see him at events, and he's real approachable, nice guy. I actually met him at Greenville. He has this book called From Green to Green, and he signed it for me at Greenville. Did anybody here go to Greenville? Cool. One word, what did you think of Greenville?
It was awesome.
Awesome. Innovative, right?
Yeah,
it was really cool. It was amazing. So yeah, give me a signed copy. This is kind of a must-read if you want to know about the history of the green building movement, about the USGBC. It gives you all the players, kind of his story, going from a really successful developer, making a ton of money, going, wait a minute, this doesn't seem right. What kind of his journey through creating this movement. So that's kind of the history. This is the future, cradle to cradle. Has anybody read Cradle to Cradle? Did you go to any of the education sessions or the closing keynote at Greenville?
Yeah.
So the closing keynote was given by the author of Cradle to Cradle. Oh, okay. This is a must-read. If you want to know the future of green building and sustainability, read this book. He's got another book coming out called Upcycle. It's going to be out on Earth Day, the 24th of April. I already have it reserved. It's on my Amazon wish list. I bought my copy in advance. It's awesome. So who's involved in the USGBC? It's not just this guy. He's not doing it by himself. Well, there's over 13,000 corporations, companies. So as you look for a job, companies are members, and you can get a membership really cheap through them. They get discounts and stuff like that. There's a ton of projects going on. This is currently registered projects. I don't remember what the date of this is, I don't think this is today or yesterday. I think it's a month or 2 months old. But needless to say, there's a lot of stuff going on around LEED. This is February 2012, so there's actually higher than this, but you know, it seems like everybody is into the USGBC and LEED. It's kind of like, you see it all over the place, you know. You got President Clinton giving out a LEED plaque. This was last year at the Advocacy Day up in Sacramento. I was there. Jerry Brown, he's actually a pretty funny guy. And this could be your past president. Hey, this could be your future president. You know, everybody's kind of getting. Anybody know who this guy is right here? That's Rick Fedrizzi, the CEO and president of the USGBC. He's local too. You'll see this guy right here around at different events. So it's really cool. We have the leaders of the USGBC right here in our area that you'll see at different workshops and different stuff like that. But it's also, you know, the community. It's all of us. You know, you see engineers, architects. A few of you I was telling before we got started that the 3 highest concentration of industry folks in our area that are LEED accredited are engineers, architects, and general contractors, subcontractors. So all of us. You want to get into this field, you know, these are the same people that are going to our events. So it's really good networking opportunities and different stuff like that. So you know what is green building, right? So there's 5 pillars of green building. Site, water, energy, material, IEQ, indoor environmental quality. So the USGBC takes these 5 pillars and really tries to transform the market. They say green and healthy neighborhoods and homes within a generation, something like that is their mission. But that's kind of the point is they're trying to green everything. And they do this through a cross-functional team. You know, everybody sits down at the beginning of a LEED project, and the architect, the engineer, the contractors, the future building owner, city planners, the city engineer, everybody sits down. They all sit in a room and they talk about the project. They talk about what they want to accomplish, what they want to do, so that everybody kind of has a voice. So everybody can influence the project, the outcomes, and everybody knows, okay, why are we doing this? You know, the contractor says, you know, I've seen a bunch of architects do this, and it doesn't really work. You maybe want to think about this. So everybody can influence the project, and that's one of the real key strengths of why the USGBC and the LEED rating systems work so well, is because everybody can influence the project. So these are, this is the suite of rating systems. These are all the ratings. Someone was asking me if those handouts up there, if that was all of them. This is all of them here. So this is the big boy on the block, existing buildings, operations, and maintenance. That's EBOM is what they call it. That's where all the work is, because there's a lot of existing buildings, and you can't do a core and shell or a new construction on an existing building. You can do it through EBOM now. This is me right up here. I'm a neighborhood development guy. I look at the whole neighborhood and how people interact with the neighborhood. I'm a city planning is my academic background, and so that's kind of what I do. These are the components of the LEED rating system. This bottom half here, IEQ over to sites, that's kind of all of them. Location linkages, that's kind of the ND. Innovation and design, that's the second really key component of the LEED rating system is all the innovation and design, the exciting stuff. That's what's happening with these projects, people kind of pushing the envelope. Here's a couple samples similar to those handouts that you guys have that kind of illustrate sites, water, energy, materials, IEQ. These are the steps of certification. It seems pretty simple. 3 steps, right? Right here, this one right here, that's the meat. This is kind of the hamburger of creating a project. The track progress and document achievement, that's where all the work is done. You have your 4 levels of LEED. The difference between platinum and gold could be not keeping track of what the source of materials or the source of something. So that track progress and document achievement, that's a huge thing. That's where everything happens. So these are the 4. If you have a building, if you're a building owner and your project doesn't have a piece of paper turned in and it costs you from platinum to gold, that can be a lot of money. So it's really important that you keep track of everything. And with LEED version 4 that's coming out soon, the tracking is going to be a lot easier. So this is kind of the breakdown. About 10 years ago, the USGBC decided to make a split and create a separate entity called the GBCI. Green Building Certification Institute, I believe is what that acronym stands for. And the GBCI takes care of all the accreditation for the people and all the certification for the buildings. And then the USGBC creates the LEED rating systems, education programs, and the reference guides. And it all, it's a big circle there. So everybody works together and creates this thing. LEED version 4 is happening right now, and it's really setting the bar a lot higher. Life cycle assessments. You're having to figure out where materials are coming from, what's in this. Are there VOCs coming, like off-gassing on this? Is that making people sick building syndrome, stuff like that? So that's all being addressed in LEED version 4. It's out for comment right now. It's in the middle of this process. This is the process of updating the rating systems. And a lot of the action happens right here between the stakeholders and the volunteer committees. The folks on the volunteer committees are like the industry experts across the nation. They all get together as a group and say, they take everybody's comments in, all these stakeholders' comments in, and say, okay, this one's good, this is a really good idea, but I don't think the movement's ready for that yet. And then it goes out and all the members vote. You get to vote as a member on these changes. So another question I ask is, who are these stakeholders? Who are these people coming up with all these new and cool ideas? Who are they and how did I become one of them? Well, guess what? You are one of them. As a member, you are a stakeholder, and you are able to influence, just like being able to influence a project, you're able to influence the rating system. So you may have the next great idea. Someone in this room may have the next great idea on the green building movement and sustainability, and you're able to change that. Remember that map? It's global. You have a chance to change the entire sustainability movement across the globe. How cool is that? So as USGB students, you're able to do that. That is part of the membership. So why should we care, right? You don't have to care. You could be this guy right over here standing in the corner with his finger up his nose. But this is why you care. Because there is a market shift happening. This is me right over here. This is what I used to do. I used to deal with the lawbreakers. I was a code enforcement agent. And that's pretty gross stuff. I don't recommend that. It's not fun and exciting. This is me over here now. I'm one of those innovators and risk takers. Kind of over here, and it's kind of fitting that the LEED logo is over there, because that's really where it's at. I'm also taking these regulations and moving this forward. So as I learn this new innovation stuff, I'm trying to take the regulations and move it forward. And this is my second favorite slide of all time. This is my favorite. This is kind of the evolution of LEED. Right now, I'm working on the green building practices becoming the foundation of building codes. Has anybody ever heard of CalGreen? This is Title 24, Chapter 11, is the Green Building Code for the state of California. It was the first in the nation.
We had it last year, actually.
Oh, dude?
But not anymore. Season Bus did it.
Oh, cool. So right now, the USGBC California, which I'm a part of, I'm a sustainable neighborhoods guy. We have 8341. It's sponsored by Gordon and one other guy, I don't remember his name. But we're trying to revamp CalGreen. We're trying to take some of the ideas from the LEED rating system, things that we've learned, best practices, and infuse them into that minimum code. Again, so that we can raise the regulations and push that market this way. Zero impact. Anybody heard of net zero? So that's what this net zero, that's right up there. This is what I'm into right here. This platinum and gold in the future, positive impact, net positive. Has anybody heard of net positive? So that cradle to cradle, that's what I'm talking about. That's that regenerative, upcycle. That's looking at everything from a holistic perspective and saying, just because we throw it out, just because it's waste to us, let's change waste into resources. So it's not like we're throwing it out. It's just that we're using it for something else down the road. And we're actually having an event April 18th, again at Third Workplace right in Walnut Creek, on regenerative design. It should be pretty cool. And it's not just us telling people, hey, this is the cool innovation stuff. I mean, the market is telling us kind of what they're interested in. They're 21% are interested in their children's future, and energy prices, and foreign oil. And a lot of these things are wrapped into the LEED rating system. Has anyone heard of resilience? It's kind of the popular word right now. Resilience. The LEED rating system addresses all sorts of resilience, climate change adaptation measures. It's kind of an implementation vehicle for all these state level policies and national policies that are happening. So what I kind of say is, state and local and federal policymakers are creating these new policies. Where are they creating them from? They're creating them from existing projects. And so creating that today's innovation is tomorrow's kind of common good. It's tomorrow's common regulation. So why not take your work and take the next 20 years of you working and learn about all the new stuff, so that when that new stuff becomes that minimum requirement, you've already got a bunch of experience with it. Does that make sense? So it's like you're setting the bar, you're out ahead, and that's what the USGBC and LEED can offer you. Is it can offer you that glimpse into the future, so that you're not